I always love this music. And this is just the music that comes with On the Line. Like, this is not fancy stuff. There is some fancy stuff I played with. I was making some Suno AI stuff. This ain't that. Yeah. So much to talk about. This is going to be a funky show. Why is it a funky show? Well, first of all, it's the 6th of November. It's the day after the election in the United States, right? It is done. The election is done. Last I checked, Trump was elected again. Yay for those who support Trump. I guess the people who support the other one, not yay. But it is what it is. And you get what you get. You don't complain. What is that line? You get what you get. Anyway, I don't remember what the line is. That said, some big stuff happening in TikTok land. Although we are currently broadcasting on multiple platforms, we are on TikTok. And if you jump into TikTok to say hello, or if you're on YouTube, wherever you are, we love you. But TikTok's going through some weird stuff in Canada. I was at dinner when I heard the news that the federal government wants to ban TikTok. So I definitely want to talk about that. There's some stuff to unpack there. I obviously have some feelings about that being the TikTok traffic cop. It's near and dear. For those who don't know who I am, I just saw a yay from Chase. He definitely a supporter of the Trump. And I like the Orange Man. I actually have his challenge coins from his first round as president, the 45th. I'm looking forward to getting some new challenge coins from Trump now that he's coming back. So yeah, if you've got challenge coins, I got a challenge coin for him if he's got a challenge coin for me. So I really want to unpack the whole TikTok biz in Canada because I'm not a big fan of the. Well, I don't want to get into. I try not to get into politics, but I'm just. This is really pissing me off. Greg Smith says, "Good evening, Greg." Should I be sending you some product for your beard? What kind of product are we talking about? Is this your product? Do you make beard stuff? Or are you just saying I need to do something? I'm still in the experimental ZZ Top stage of my beard. It is new to me. In 25 years, for the last 25 years, I've been regulated by uniform standards, and thus I've never had a beard this long. And well, now I do, and it's weird, and I'm waiting for my wife to yell at me for having a beard that's too long. Chase says, I heard TikTok business operations will be ceased in Canada. So that is the discussion point. That is what I want to come back and talk about in a little bit. Just to acknowledge those that are coming in. Oh, actually, wait. Did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? I got to switch this. I got to switch that. I made my other channel a moderator so I can, because it's so much easier. I'll turn down the volume. It's so much easier to moderate my own channel from the iPhone than it is from the web interface. I can see you, and Tyler apparently wants to know. Please don't spam, Tyler. I saw you the first 3 times you messaged. You don't need to repeat yourself. But that said, I'm not gonna jump in and answer your question, even though you're repeating it again. But what I will do is I'll mute you if you keep what is it called? Spamming. Don't spam. Spamming bad. That's what my message is. So just as a thing, Tyler, who obviously is not that person, we're going to mute you we'll give you a 5-minute break so you can stop spamming. All right. It's so nice to have the functionality of moderating. In case I didn't introduce myself, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former Toronto police officer, and I've been that TikTok traffic cop online for about 4 years, answering your traffic and police questions. It's a thing that I love doing. It's really a passion project for me to help educate and make everybody up or aware of all the laws. And I want to do that. Why is it important to me? I want to do that because I want to keep you safe, because there's some stuff and things you just don't know. I want to keep you from having to pay tickets. I want to keep your insurance low. If you know stuff before you do stuff, you can make the conscious decision to make or follow the law or break it. But if you just don't know, it's tough. Now, the ignorance isn't a defense of the law, but it's an opportunity for me to help you. Maybe if you knew stuff and things, you'd avoid doing the stuff and things that you shouldn't do. We got a let's hope. Who's this? My name is Jeff. Jeff says, let's hope for PP in Canada. Pierre Polyev is here talking about not PP, absolutely, 100%. R wants to know if I know anything about e-scooter laws, and actually, I know a whole lot about e-scooter laws. I might even be the most e-scooter law knower of things in the country, at very least in the province. And I say that quite seriously. I was on AM 640 yesterday, along with News Talk 1010, talking about those things. And why? Because they're complicated. They're complicated. They're not complicated. But what do you want to know about e-scooter laws? Because if you live in the city of Toronto, they're totally banned. If you're in the province of Ontario, they are maxed out at 24. Province of Ontario, out in the jurisdictions, in the municipalities that allow them, you cannot have one that's capable of going more than 24 kilometers an hour, because that's the legal requirement to make them fit into the pilot project. If they don't fit into the pilot project, you can't have them anywhere, which is good to know, because, yeah, if you have an illegal one that goes 25 or higher, they're prohibited anywhere in the province of Ontario, and you get big old fines because they're motor vehicles and you're not licensed to operate one. Yeah, and you have to wear a helmet. So no seats, no cargo, must wear a helmet, and 500-watt motor max, no faster than 24 kilometers an hour. And nothing in Toronto, because just having it in the city of Toronto as a vehicle outside of private property, you're breaking the law. Okay. But do my Jamie Jeff says, of course they do. It's wherever we get news. Tim what is this? Red R. Why can't I read your name? Red, but I don't know. Things have changed, Tim. I can't read the lack of spaces. Ban TikTok. Where will I get my cat videos? I love the cat videos. I'm not a cat person. I'm allergic to cats. I do like cats, but I can't play with cats because the cats they make me sneeze, and it's bad. But I love the cat videos, all the animal videos I'm watching with my kids. There's so many different things on TikTok that make it amazing. And yeah, okay, we're just going to get into it. The federal government wants to ban TikTok's offices, not the platform. They're not going to ban the bad platform that they hate so much. No, they're going to ban the offices where Canadian people work. And, they're making, it's so stupid. But that's what they want to do. They want to, make sure that my friends at TikTok are unemployed. It makes no sense to me. And maybe if you can make some sense of it to me, I'd really appreciate it. But so far, it just sounds like stupidity. Security concerns. They have a phenomenal coffee machine and a whole host of beef jerky and chocolate. I mean, I've been to their offices a number of times, and they've got a nice spread there. But they have offices in Toronto, right down the street from Toronto Police Traffic Services, and they have offices in Vancouver, where I imagine other magical people who have access to good coffee, beef jerky, and power bars are. Why do they want to shut it down? Security concerns. But you can still use the app afterwards? Must be heavy-duty security concerns. I mean, I get it. If it's really a problem, ban the whole thing. But I don't, I'm not buying it. Sounds like something fishy going on. And I'm not usually a conspiracy theorist, but if it's dealing with the current head of, that guy, I don't trust him. Just saying. Bo says, what are you passionate about in life? Well, aside from this, my family. This and family. No, I'm passionate about all sorts of things. But I'm very vocal about the things here. Tyler, we talked about street racing. Trump 2024, Truth for You says that. And what do we got here? If you got questions about traffic safety, traffic law, of course we'll talk about that stuff. That's what I always do. But you know what? We're talking about other stuff tonight. We're talking about stuff that's different. We're getting a little political, apparently. Is it illegal to cover your car with lights on Halloween? Potentially. Now, would most police officers think it's cool and not give you a problem? If you're not causing a problem, you probably got away with it. Is it actually illegal? Well, it's illegal to project light other than white or yellow to the front. It's illegal to project light other than amber or red to the rear. So yeah, it's potentially illegal. But Christmas, Halloween, a lot of stuff happens that is maybe forgiven. But just saying. Let's see here. Boom. What do we got here? We got a couple of comments that I missed. So, TikTok business. We said, Chase says, no longer representing TPS, speak freely. You know what? I'm not representing Toronto Police, but not directly. But I'm always going to be a cop at heart, and I'm going to try my best, despite my I've come so close to losing it. Like, And because I know I can get away with it, no one can say anything, but I don't want to bring my profession, even though I'm retired from it, in any other bad light. I don't want to. And I'm still here on the platform, and I'm still trying to help people. And I don't want to be that guy that loses credibility because I wanted to talk about some dope. I mean, the dope. Um, that guy. Anyway, I can't bring myself to say it. I want to say it, can't say it. Greg says the beard is looking awesome. You must have a whole routine and product and product to go into that bad boy. Okay, we're off topic. We're talking beards. It is quite developed at this point. The beard. I do have some conditioner and beard oil that I use, but nothing really crazy. It's take a shower, slather the stuff up, comb it. I brush it. I comb it. I don't know. I've never had a beard this long. This is all new to me, but it is an experience, and my kids like it. My wife accepts it right now. We'll see how much she likes it or allows me to keep it. Just saying. Brandon says, "Hey Sean, I recently got a challenge coin from NASA and got one from SpaceX. I'm an Elon fan. I'm not a fan like I don't like buy T-shirts with Elon Musk on them, but I like what he did. I like that he made X free. Free of the crap that it was under before when it was run by nincompoops. But no, I respect that. I don't know if I want a Tesla. I did put a deposit on a Tesla. I've not actioned that Tesla Cybertruck. I don't think I'm getting a Cybertruck. Not only is it incredibly expensive, but I don't think I want to wait around. I like pumping gas and moving on, just going where I want to go. I don't know if I'm ready to recharge. Just saying. Chase reminds everyone that spam is for sandwiches. And, oh, come on. Brandon got this to cook for some of the SpaceX staff, which was cool. That is cool. I got to hook up with you when you're cooking. He's always talking about good stuff coming out of his kitchen or barbecue or however you were producing. Spork. Sporks are cool. Spork wants to know, what is the legal age to ride e-scooters, e-bikes, and what's the maximum speed? So very quickly, 16 years old is the required age in order to ride an e-bike or a kick scooter in the province of Ontario, aside from private property. Private property is outside of that. If you're talking about the maximum speed, e-kick scooters have a maximum capable speed of 24 kilometers an hour to be legal. If it does 25 kilometers an hour, it's a motor vehicle and subject to all sorts of laws. If you're talking about e-bikes, they have a maximum capable speed of 32 kilometers an hour. And I'm saying capable for a reason. The reason it's capable is it's not that you're just keeping it under the speed limit. If I drive my Tesla, that I don't have, at 32 kilometers an hour, it's still a Tesla. It's still a car. It doesn't transform into a go-kart and become, no longer requiring license, ownership, and insurance. So it's the same deal with an e-bike. If it's not capable, when you max out full throttle, it is not capable of going faster, not because you put a switch on saying on-road, off-road. Off-road mode means it's capable. Anyway, if you've got, there are so many that are capable of doing 100 miles an hour, e-kick scooters that can do 100 miles an hour. Maybe it's 100 kilometers an hour. I have video of it anyway. It's insane. Dual motor, 2,500 watts machines that can do amazing, amazing speed. And people can get amazingly injured, and they're amazingly illegal. I think they should all be regulated. I think they should have license, ownership, and insurance like everything else. When one of those smacks into the side of a car and hurts or kills the driver and hurts or kills the occupants of the vehicle, it's a real collision. It's a motor vehicle. In fact, it qualifies as a motor vehicle. It's only magic pixie dust that makes it into an e-kick scooter for the purposes of legislative benefit, treating it as a bicycle. But anyway, I could go on and rant about the stupidity of these bikes. I think they're cool. I have one. It doesn't go that fast, but I have one, and I don't use it in the city of Toronto because it's illegal. Private property only. Great for trade shows. Okay. Hey, Andrew Stewart, what's happening? Andrew says hi. Says, I hope all is well. Yeah, things are good. Chilling out on TikTok and a whole bunch of other places. Hey, if you don't already follow me, please do. I'm on all these platforms. Wherever you're seeing me is one of the places I'm at. If you go to trafficcop.ca, you can go and find out all the other places that I'm at. But lots of things that are coming down the pipe. I'm really excited to share it with you, but I can't share it with you yet. But things are happening, I'm going to get. I think I'm going to get a lot busier online. Yeah, I'm already busy. I'm going to get busier. All right. Baconator7653 says, I have my G1 and I don't have my license on me while driving. What would an officer do? Well, if you're driving and you're solo in the vehicle and we look you up, we're going to see that you don't have so you failed to surrender your license upon demand of a police officer. So you're going to get a $110 ticket for that. But if you're G1 and you're unaccompanied by a qualified G-Class driver with 4 years experience, you're going to be getting a ticket for G1 drive unaccompanied, and then that's going to get you a 30-day suspension on your first offense, a 90-day on your second, and you're going to get kicked out of the driver program on your third. So that's a bad idea. You're also uninsured because you're a learner, and you only have the authority to drive that car if you're being supervised. The supervising driver, who has to be sober under 0.05 BAC, blood alcohol content, has to be in the front passenger seat, the only person in the front seats along with you as the driver. And they have to have 4 years experience, which counts from the point that they got their G2 and includes G and G2 time. Yeah. So, what will happen depends on what the officer determines should happen. But what could happen is that you can get 2 tickets and walk home or call someone to pick up your car. And if you got other tickets because you did other stuff, then you'd get those prizes too. Also, as a learning driver, as a young driver, the number of points required before you get suspended, that's fewer. So it just sounds like a bad idea. L Easy says, hi, Sean. I was stopped by a bylaw. What is this? I was stopped by bylaw for loud pipes on my motorcycle, 93 versus 92 maxed, fighting it, advice. Okay, so in the city of Toronto, there's a bylaw. It's $500, and it's for 92 decibels at idle or anything other above 92, anything other than, no, is it 96? Oh, okay, I haven't talked about this in like 2 months. So it might be 92 at idle and 96 at anything other than idle. Does that sound right? Maybe not. In any case, there's very, very difficult to fight it if they have a device that they use to measure that. What are you going to say? I wasn't doing it. The machine is faulty. That's pretty much the only defense you have because the bylaw is there. Unnecessary noise would be another one. So, you were 93 of the 90. Okay, so you were 1 decibel over at idle, I'm assuming, which is still ridiculously loud. Like when this first came out, like 9 out of 10 bikes tested did not fail. So if you failed, you were actually that loud. Yeah, good luck. I say that with love. I'm not a big fan of loud motorcycles. All you can do is go and say I was 1 over. Like maybe it wasn't idling. Maybe maybe your idle was stuck. It was malfunctioning. The idle was too high. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not the guy who defends tickets. I'm the guy that usually would write the tickets. So I'm the wrong person to ask defense questions. Okay. By the way, if you are on TikTok, please like by tapping that screen and sharing the live. It does help me get found by more people, although it does get messy because more people tend to come into the room and then it's harder to get your questions answered. But that's another story. Let's see here. Oh, Andrew says, do I have to identify myself as a passenger? Well, you don't have to say I'm a passenger because I see you as a passenger, but if you are pulled over by police, if the driver's pulled over and you're in the passenger seat, do you actually have to tell the police who you are or provide identification? Well, you're not required to unless you're being investigated for an offense. So if you are the passenger of a motor vehicle and you're not wearing a seatbelt, that would be a reason to ask for your identity. And you'd have to provide your not your identification card, but your identity. You'd have to identify yourself and satisfy the police officer as to who you are. If the police officer isn't satisfied, if they believe that you are lying for some reason, they could arrest you until they could determine who you are. What do we have here? Oh, apparently I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Scrolling back. All right, here we go. KY says, quick question. You should have just asked it because now I don't know if I'll find you again, but we'll try. Here. What's the best way to get off a charge? Say it could be handled outside of court because of the Crown. So, what does this say? It could handle the. So here's the deal. As a police officer, if I went to court, very often the prosecutor would say, hey, go talk to Mr. Jones out and tell him what's going on. And I'd say, here's what I found you doing. Here's the story. The Crown might plead to something else if you want to, or have a trial. And if you have a trial, this is what I'm going to say. And they would, then go back and say, okay, apparently the officer made notes and is, he's actually here. So, okay, maybe I'll take a deal. That's, if you're talking about that happens all the time, but you don't have to even get the trial to do that. You can go to a prosecutor for a first appearance and discuss what they might be willing to do. And very often they're willing to give you a deal just to make it go away. There's too many cases to deal with. So they try and be, to expedite matters in the interests of the court. I says, skim through it. They want to pursue it. I don't know what your charge is. I don't know anything about it, so I couldn't tell you. But if you're pleading guilty, that might give you the opportunity of a lesser included offense. And if you want to say you're innocent because you believe you're innocent, then you should have a trial and then prove your innocence. But I don't know how you're going to do it because I don't know what your charge is. James Fleming, what's going on, my brother? Jamil Mystery says, can you read the HTA for window tinting? Don't tell me it's 70%. Just read the actual law. Go read the actual law yourself. There's two different sections. So one, there is for putting a color or reflective coating on your window, which is for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle. And that is one charge eligible for officers, or that the officers can choose to lay. So if I can't see you, you've put a coating on, and I can't, it's regardless of what number it is, I can't see inside. I can't identify the driver. I don't know if you're male, female, or other. I can't see anything to describe you. It's too dark. You're getting a ticket for obscuring. If I look on the inside out and I determine that it is blocked and I cannot see out properly to what I believe should be the appropriate amount of visibility, you're going to get another one for driver view obstructed by a coating. So there's no number I need to lay those charges. That's $110 to $220, depending on if I lay one or both charges. Now, if you're talking about unsafe motor vehicle, then 30% light blockage is the magic number for vehicles manufactured 2017 or newer. Nothing on the front windshield, and it specifically outlines those vehicles as having no more than 30% light blockage, meaning 70% of the light has to get through. If it has more tinting than that, it would fail a certification. Your vehicle is unsafe for the road. Police officer can pull your plates and you can be towed away and you can go apply for a new certification. Every mechanic in the province of Ontario is required to have a tint meter. They're required to test that vehicle before they certify it. And if they certified it with dark tints, I'd be going to them complaining about why they certified your vehicle with unsafe tints. Scotty C says, hi, Sean, can you drive commercially with one truck operating two business with two RINs or two CVORs? I have no idea, Scotty. I wish I had an answer for you. Yeah, I don't know the answer. That's a question for a commercial vehicle specialist person, not me. Sadly, I know lots of stuff about moving violations. That's not one of them. I never really spent time with CVOR stuff. I occasionally dropped in on the blitzes, trying to learn as much as possible. And I would watch the certified guys who would wear jumpsuits, police jumpsuits, and crawl into the vehicles. I learned a lot, but I didn't learn that. James D says, if I have my G1, we talked about that one. I have a big question. I have a Christmas lights all over my car. Is that illegal? Potentially. We talked about that a little earlier. Yeah, it's potentially a problem. It really depends on how light, how much of a distraction, how much attention you draw because of it. Technically speaking, you can't project light in any direction that you want. It's very specific colors and very specific directions. And Christmas lights tend to be all sorts of colors, blinking and causing problems. Intermittent flashes of red light is actually prohibited under the Highway Traffic Act, and you could get some doo-doo problems. But in the Christmas spirit, which I am so fond of, is my favorite time of year, generally speaking, a lot slides when people try and get festive with it. So, let's see here. Neha says, hello, Neha. How you doing? Chanel says, an undercover cop pretended to be my boyfriend. Can I press charges? What? An undercover cop pretended to be my boyfriend. For what? Sorry, they pretended to be your boyfriend and you believed him? He said, hi, I'm your boyfriend. And you went to the prom with him? What are you talking about? I don't know. I haven't got enough from what you're telling me to actually understand what the heck you're talking about. So please tell me more, because it sounds like the makings of a Netflix movie. Okay, boom. What do we got here? Who got the best rates in car insurance, big man? That's a good question, because I don't know. I should probably start shopping around, because I'm sure I've renewed once or twice without even paying attention, because I've been busy not paying attention. But you should check your rates on a regular basis. I know that when I canceled my motorcycle insurance, my rates actually went up. Makes no sense, because they don't check your rates all the time. They don't check your rates. Yeah, they don't check your rates all the time. So if you make a change, they go, oh, this guy's getting too good a deal. We should raise it. That's what happened to me. Boom. Ms. Lynn says, thank you for staying online doing this. It's my pleasure. I love doing this. I actually enjoy being online. And I've recently written a book about what I did online with the Toronto Police and what I suggest police agencies across the planet do. So this is my bag, baby. This is what I do. I wrote a book about it. I'm actually doing consulting for agencies. I'm doing all sorts of work in the private sector surrounding social media and communications. So this is just something that I now do because I enjoy it. What do we got here? Amanda Casper wants to know, how many people can a 17-year-old have in a car with a G2? It depends. First of all, if it's during the hours outside of midnight till 5 a.m., they can have as many people in the vehicle as they have seatbelts for. That's the answer. Between 12 and 5 a.m., they can only have one person in the car under the age of 19, under the age of 20? Under the age of 20, that is not immediate family in the first 6 months. In the second 6 months, they can have up to 3 people under the age of 20 between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. But immediate family is exempt from that. They can have as many people in the car as they have seatbelts. What do we have this? Cawdog75 says, how often do cops just randomly run the plate of the car in front of them, say out of 10 cars? Me, it would be 10 out of 10. In fact, we have automatic plate readers. I say we. I got to get out of the habit of saying we. I am no longer we. They are they. I am me. But police officers have automatic plate readers, which may be reading and running all the plates all the time. But back in the day, before automatic plate readers, when I was actually on the road, I would run every single one that I could safely. So if I was in stop and go traffic, I ran all. If I was in traffic moving quickly, I was going to be running the ones that drew my attention because I didn't have the ability to do all of them. Massimo26 says, former officer, you retire? Yes, indeed. I left at the end of August. We got Linus Lulu. Are clear license plate covers legal? No, they're not. Technically, anything covering the license plate is illegal. It's an obstruction. We don't know if it's polarized, which is by putting, how would you put it, fibers in the clear lens that make it non-visible to cameras. So whether it could also cause reflections or obstructions, obscuring, what's it called? I can't remember the terminology. Basically, a lens distortion that is caused by different thicknesses, like glasses. It could distort the lens or the look. I've never had a problem with someone who had a clear lens that was readable. If it was legible through the clear lens, I had no problem. If it was a tinted lens, if it was a dirty lens, if it was a cloudy one that's sun bleached, then I had a problem with it. So it depends on the officer. Your mileage may vary, but it is technically illegal. In fact, even the license plates that come from the dealership, they are illegal. The ones that license plate frames that just go around, you can totally read the numbers because there's nothing in front of the plate. But if it obscures Ontario or Yours to Discover or any portion of the white, technically it's illegal. What is this? Okay. Thank you for Theo K, who answered for me. What do we got here? M. Shap is my wife, who says, I like it. We're talking about the beard, I think. The residential farmer says, Sean, you and Cam Woolley need to start a podcast. Cam and I are friends. We should totally do a podcast. I don't know what his schedule's like. He's since he left CP24, he's further out of the city. I see him on occasion. I'm seeing him again in December. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing. But he doesn't come into town. Technology, we could do this remotely. So maybe that's a good idea. I like Cam. He's a good guy. Joe Canning says, beard looking good, sir. Keep it going. So I will do that. I'm going to keep it going until my wife says to stop. The resident, okay, agreed. So Ms. Lynn says, agreed to the concept of a podcast with Cam. Woodell Engineering, how you doing? Loving your drone footage. My cousin picked up his Cybertruck yesterday. Come on. Okay, I want to know more. What do you think? See, a friend of mine who reviews cars, Brian Max, he drove it and he didn't like it. And he said he would make fun of me if I got it. That's not the reason I stopped. I didn't get it. The reason I stopped it is because the foundation model that I had the deposit on and still have a deposit on is like $150,000 that I don't currently have, especially now that I'm on a fixed or reduced income, due to the whole leaving the police thing. So yeah, I put pause on my Cybertruck purchases, but I will tell you what I am looking at. It's an Expedition, a 2025 Expedition. It looks sick. Yeah, I really like that. I have an Expedition now. I'd like to get a new one. What do we got here? Dumbface LOL says, why do cops need to have guns when they're just overseeing a construction site? Because they're cops. Because cops do cop stuff. And people like to hurt cops or rob people in front of cops. And if you don't have a gun, what the heck are you going to do? I don't understand British police. Like I would not be a police officer without a gun. And I'd like to see more guns. Guns good. Oh, my goodness. Bad guys have guns. That's why cops need guns. Now, what are they overseeing in construction sites? they're working an overtime shift paid for by that private contractor, but they're still police officers with police obligations. If something were to happen right in front of them, they would have to be doing something policey, and that might require them to have guns. Yeah, they need guns. What do we got here? Boo, boo, boo. Yes, Theo K says, because they might need it. Lachlan says, hosting car meets? Am I hosting car meets? I haven't hosted a car meet. Is that a question if I'm doing it or somebody else? I like how they say, why does it say former police officer? Because I am no longer a police officer. I left the police service in August, and I am a civilian once again. It is very weird after 25 years of being with the Toronto Police Service in one capacity or another to no longer wear a uniform every day, to not have to go to the office every day. It's weird. I love aspects of it. I miss not being a cop anymore, not being with my blue family. We're still family. We're family forever. But I used to have people that I saw every day. We laughed and cried together, and I mean that because there's good and there's bad and everything. We saw tragedy together. We saw joy together, and it's weird not having that regular interaction. But the bond is there forever. Anyway, yes, Mislin says it amazes me the amount of people who think driving is a right instead of a privilege. You're absolutely right. It is nuts how many people think they're good drivers and aren't, and how many people believe that it's their right to do that and put other people's lives at risk in the process. I think we need to take a lot of licenses away. I think we should have people retest on a regular basis. Brandon says, for the price of a Cybertruck, you can get a really sweet Mustang. A friend of mine just picked up like amazing. It's a California Mustang, California Custom. I don't know what it is. I'm not a Mustang guy. My father has a Mustang, oddly enough. I had a Mustang back in the day. I no longer fit in the Mustang comfortably. I drove my dad's and I wanted to get out and scream. It's too small. Too small, I'm too big. The combination is bad. What do we got here? What about a picture of the license? Do you mean like a picture of a driver's license because you forgot yours at home? It doesn't meet the quality. It doesn't meet the requirements of the law. So if you show up and I say, or I pull you over, if I was a police officer still, I pulled you over and I said, I need your license, ownership, and insurance. I demand that you provide it to me. And you say, here's a photo on my phone. I would say, thank you for showing me a photo. Very kind of you. Where's your license? Because that's what you're legally required to surrender for reasonable inspection of a police officer. And when you say, well, I left it at home, or isn't this good enough? I would say no, and then I would issue a ticket. Thank you for the roses. I don't see your name. Well, I do see your name, but I can't read that script. Either way, appreciate the gifts. I just noticed it. If I've missed anybody else who gave gifts, my apologies. I just noticed that for the first time. It's only on one screen that I can see them. I think maybe I can see them here. Oh, somebody else sent gifts. Gifts are coming. This is so weird for me because for the longest time I worked to not be able to receive gifts, and now that I can receive gifts, it feels real weird. But it's kind of you. I appreciate it. I do this on my own time, so the fact that you want to throw stuff at me is kind of you. Not necessary because I do this because I like doing it. Okay. Undead Neon. It's just a name I haven't seen in a long time. How are you doing, my friend? Let's see here. Okay. Going through, trying to catch up with more of the questions you have. What's our timing like? You know what I said I was going to do that I never did? You probably don't know because I haven't said it. But here's the thing. I can put a, where do we go? Hang on a sec. Bear with me. How much time do we have left? What time? It's been 35 minutes. So technically 25 minutes is what should be here. Okay. Let's put 25 minutes on the clock. Now that I can do this, we'll say add. Hey, I thought this was the coolest idea. Because I actually want to spend time with my lovely wife, I am going to put 25 minutes up on the board. And then when I am out of time, I will say good night. How's that sound? Yes. So weird. I love it. The countdown timer is awesome. Wish I had that. I couldn't do that. This software that I use for streaming at home wouldn't allow me to use it this way at the office when I was with the Toronto Police. So this is something I can do here that I couldn't do there. All right. So the answer was you would still get a ticket for $110 if you surrendered a photo because you need the card. Aiden Sky? I don't know. Aiden Ski? What are the main differences between a G and a G2? Just got my G and they seem to be the same. Okay. The biggest thing is that you are now a licensed driver for life as long as you keep renewing it. You don't get suspended. You don't get into any issues medically or otherwise. And you just need to renew. If you were a G2 driver and you expired after 5 years, you'd have to take your G2 test again to get your G2 for another 5 years. So that's one thing. Zero BAC. Until you are 21, it doesn't really change. But once you are 22, you can have more than zero BAC, blood alcohol content. So you could have a drink and still be legally able to drive. I say a drink because anybody could have different impacts of alcohol. We still say no alcohol is best. But if you had more than zero but less than the legal limit, you'd be legal. And that's to some people very important, to be able to have a glass of wine at dinner or something like that. So interesting. If you are, what else can I tell you? The concept of how many points you can accumulate before you get suspended is different. So as a G1 or G2 driver, if you get a ticket that has 4 demerit points, I'm going to put my hand in the right place to be seen. If you have 4 demerit points in a single ticket, you get a 30-day suspension. So you can actually lose your license by violating the conditions of your license that cause you to be kicked out of the graduate licensing program. As a G-class driver, you no longer have that same bar where you have increased penalties. In fact, you can get, I think, to 15 points before you get suspended. Whereas, again, 4 demerit points in one ticket, boom, you're out. At least for some level of issue, where you get into trouble. I always say trouble, and then I think of RoboCop. There will be trouble. David Madison, you're the third person to ask me about Christmas lights this episode. Is it okay to have my car covered in Christmas lights or only turn them on when parked? I would suggest only when parked, but I'll say the same thing I said to everybody else. There's a lot of latitude during Christmas. We happen to like Christmas a lot. Best time of year. People doing good things for, if it's in the Christmas spirit, if they're low light, you may not get problems, but I don't want to tell you you're free and clear, because you might find a copper who doesn't like Christmas and they give you a ticket. I don't know. It wouldn't be me. I would have taken a picture with you. I like it. But if you're causing an issue, if you're really negatively impacting drivers' ability to drive safely, it's going to be a problem and you're going to get ticketed. Okay. What happens if I miss my court date for traffic tickets? What's going to happen is you're going to be deemed not to dispute. You didn't show up. You're guilty. And that's it. It's going to be registered against you, a finding of guilt, and then you are going to be sent a notice for payment. You might even lose your license if you get suspended for non-payment. So, don't miss court. Send somebody in your place. If you're sick, you send someone and say, he's sick, and then you ask for a new court date, you put it over. If you want any information about how to deal with court systems, if you're new to the whole process, you've never done it, you can get the guide for provincial offenses court defendants, and it's linked in my trafficcop.ca link tree at the bottom. You can get all sorts of useful links. That's one of them. What do we got here? What's the law on trailer that's towed behind water tank? Does it require a license plate? Sorry, you tow behind a water tank a license plate? Oh, okay. Is this what you're saying? This is not a trailer. It's a tank with wheels. The law apparently changed. According to Murray Campbell, he's a sergeant at Traffic Services. That is now requiring a license plate, whereas it didn't before, because a trailer needs to actually carry a load, not be a thing. So it used to be those tar devices. Apparently, were never requiring a. They weren't required. Is that the cooker? For doing the tar, that wouldn't have required a license plate, but now it may, at least according to the most recent information, which is Murray telling me that's what it was. Perrywing says, Ford is thinking of making a G3 license after that full G. The heck does that? Well, really? I got to read up on that. I've not heard that. Okay, interesting. Tom wants to know if I retired from TPS. Yes, indeed. I left the service in August to go off and adventure and do other things. Really, it was more, it's not that I didn't like what I was doing. I actually loved what I was doing. I loved the people I worked with. It was a great thing. But my family situation changed, and I need to be closer to home to help out and do stuff that's important. We got a question here from Manraj Verk, who says, for helmet law, is it only allowed practicing Sikh wearing turban exempt, or anyone wearing a turban exempted? It's practicing Sikh. So you need to be able to demonstrate to a police officer that you are, in fact, a practicing Sikh. And they would ask you some qualifying questions to justify and so on. So I've heard of people just putting a bandana on their head and claiming to be Sikh. That doesn't meet the grade. They have to be able to be to demonstrate that they're a practicing Sikh. We've been trained. We know the questions to ask. And if you don't qualify, you're going to get a ticket. A lot of people are really pissed off about that some people get to do it and others don't. Here's the thing. If you were of a faith that required you to do something that didn't let you drive, I'm saying drive because I want to be extreme here. You can't drive because you're that, whatever that is. Is that fair? You want to be true to your faith. You believe in that. How do we just take you out of the game because you can't do whatever it is you need? So, really bad example. We're not letting people operate a motorcycle because they have a faith that requires them to wear a head covering that prevents them from wearing a helmet. Is that fair? The people argue both sides. I don't make the laws, so it's got nothing to do with me. I'm not defending it so much as trying to explain it. Let's see here. Ali wants to know if I do early resolution for an obstructed plate, will they waive the ticket? There's no guarantee of anything. You have an offense. Will they waive it? An obstructed plate is an obstructed plate. Could you show them you changed it, fixed it, repaired it, and it's no longer obstructed? It's possible it's within their right to get rid of it, but I could never say that they're going to get rid of it. That's up to them. Let's see here. We talked about that. Can I drive a lended vehicle even though I'm not insured under that car? That's Nero who wants to know. So if you are a licensed driver for the province of Ontario, you're licensed, you have a license for the class of vehicle you want to borrow. Actually, not just licensed for that, for the province of Ontario. You have you're fully licensed as a driver. It's valid. You're driving a vehicle that's licensed to be on the road. If you are qualified to drive that class of vehicle and the vehicle is insured, then you can borrow that vehicle. Absolutely. And you'd be covered under that insurance unless you're specifically exempt. Like if the insurance policy had a condition saying you have to be 25 years old to drive it, then you have to be 25 years old to drive it. And if you're 24, you would not be insured. That's between you and the insured party on the vehicle and their insurance provider. As a police officer, if I pulled you over, I'd say, license, insurance, you have proof? Great. Have a nice day. Here's your ticket or no ticket or whatever. Is that clear as mud? Let me know if you're picking up what I was putting down. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. I skipped ahead. Oh, wow. So I see 41 people in TikTok, and I see a whole bunch of people. Where'd my window go? Whole bunch of people on other platforms who are watching. Welcome to all of you. If you don't know who I am, I look different, don't I? My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer. I got to catch myself. I've done it a couple times where I say police officer because I'm so used to it. For so long, I've said police officer, and I am no longer a police officer. I'm a former police officer. I used to be with the Toronto Police Traffic Services Unit, and I am now a civilian who is choosing to spend time with you here on TikTok and other platforms to help you out, answer your questions, and hopefully make the road safer. So if you don't already follow me, please do. And so much cool stuff coming down the pipe that I can't talk about yet, but will soon when I can. Okay, how much more than the speed limit do you have to go to trigger the speed cameras? I can't tell you that. Actually, I don't know. They don't tell me, so I can't tell you even if I wanted to. I can tell you that it's believed to be a percentage. It's not 1 kilometer, but it could be 1 kilometer in some jurisdictions because every municipality sets their own limits. But I'm told it's a percentage, so it depends on the speed that it's set to in terms of the speed limit, and less for slower speed limits and slightly more for higher. But if you were doing the right thing and not speeding, you wouldn't have to worry. Oddly enough, if you get used to not speeding, it becomes easy not to speed. I can tell you this from experience because I generally don't speed. I have sped, but that's usually because I didn't realize the speed limit changed. And I go, holy, yeah, because even I don't want a ticket. Okay. Let's see here. Chris Ruffalo wants to know, hi, Sean, is there a process for police pulling someone over out of a bunch of people doing the same speed? Whichever vehicle I point my laser at, whichever vehicle I noticed speeding, if a pack is coming up, but I noticed the red car because I like red, and I point my laser to confirm that speed on a red car, and I pull over the red car, that would be the process for me. It could be totally different for everybody else. There is absolutely nothing that will determine who the winner of the speed pack is going to be. It could be one or more. It could be stopping the entire street, because if you're all moving as a pack, I could identify clearly that you're all moving together. I could measure speed on one vehicle, knowing that the other vehicles were going the same speed, and pull you over as a group. All depends. Dana says, do you know Kamal? I saw him on your podcast. I know Kamal. Which Kamal? Which podcast? But yes, I absolutely do know a Kamal. Okay. What was your personal kilometers for giving forgiveness when issuing a speed ticket? If it was 5, 10, depending on the speed. If it was a 30 kilometer an hour zone, nothing. If you were doing 5 over and a 30, you're getting the ticket. If you were doing 10 over and a 40, you're getting the ticket. If you're doing 15 over and a 60, you're getting the ticket. If you were doing, generally speaking, in a 60 zone, if you were doing 19 over, I might drop it down to 15. But if you were doing 20 or above, you got the actual speed, no reduction. Just that became the sort of the way I did it for a long, long time. If there's a P parking on Bloor, but the parking signs are covered, if I don't pay, will I get a ticket? Generally speaking, if the no parking signs are covered, you shouldn't get a ticket, but why are they being covered? You go by the signage. So I'm very weary of parking anywhere because I've been stung before. I'm not the parking guru. The parking guru is Erin Urquhart. She's TPS_bikehart, and she's the best person to ask that question to. She doesn't really do lives as much, I understand, but you can certainly send her a message. She does get back to you. What do we got here? Can officers see if your vehicle has insurance on it when they run the plate number? They can see if it's being checked, and it's a 15-day turnaround, so it may not be accurate. So I get an indicator if you definitely don't have insurance or if it hasn't been updated in the system in 15 days, but it's not a guarantee. So when I pull you over, I cannot say that you have insurance or not definitively. So I'm still going to make a demand to see your insurance because I want to be able to call the insurance company and say, does Bob have insurance? And they tell me if it's in or out. And then if you don't, I charge you. And then it's $5,000 to $25,000 and up to 6 months in jail if you don't have insurance and you're convicted. First time anyway. What is this? L Easy says, for your information, last night my passenger window was smashed by a thief looking for money. $700 to fix a rear window. What are you driving? Thankfully, I've not had to replace a window. Maybe it's $700 for everybody. I'm so not happy with the current situation with the amount of crime we have. Let's see here. Floyd Lightman, 8 happy nights. Waiting for Hanukkah. Absolutely. Let's see here. Is there any way to prepare for a police panel interview? Definitely by just thinking about stories in your head. I don't mean stories like writing fictions. I mean, thinking about times in your life when you've had conflict, times in life when you've shown leadership. You go through scenarios that you've probably heard might come up in a police interview. Times when you've dealt with difficulty, conflict, racism, when you've been a victim of it, when you've seen it by other people. Have you ever seen anybody else treat somebody else? What did you do? Thinking about these things, because if you don't think about these things that are stored in the recesses of your memory, someone asks you a question about them, you're not going to be able to come up and say. Now, some people try and script the response. You really can't. The big thing is be honest. Be honest, be truthful, be open, it's a thing when you're honest, it just comes out real. If you try and make it sound good, you're going to come off as lying, and then it's not going to sound good at all. Even if it's real, if you try and script it to make yourself look good, that's a bad thing. Just be you. Just say what it is and be honest. BK wants to know if they can drift in an empty parking lot in the snow. I've seen on-duty cops doing it. It's illegal. Last time I saw on-duty cops doing it, they got in trouble big time because it was caught on video at the Science Center, and an investigation ensued, and they had to go pull the video, and they had to go find the officers, which oddly enough they did find, and then it was a bad scene. It's illegal on private property to drift. It's illegal on the road to drift. It's illegal anywhere to drift. So if you do that, you're looking at stunt driving charges. What happens if I took my plate from my vehicle and put the exact same, what is this? Oh, what happens if I took the plate from a vehicle and put it on the exact same as mine? So you had 2 Dodge Durangos. You pulled it off Dodge Durango A and put it on Dodge Durango B. Nothing would happen until you get caught, at which point you have a plate that is not for that vehicle. What is the actual verbiage of that charge? Plate not authorized. So it's a different VIN. We check the VIN to make sure it matches. I used to check the serial number of the stickers because people used to take validation stickers and steal them off of cars in parking lots and stick them. They'd go with a razor and peel 5 stickers up so they didn't break it, and then stick it on their own plate. And then I would check the validity, and if it was a stolen sticker, woohoo! Yeah. Are police going to know? Yeah, police are going to know. And yes, the question was, do they check the VIN? And you're absolutely right. Road cams, what's going on, buddy? Video Game Dad says, how do you ask questions? You just did. There is a delay, a long one at that, because I am reading questions that are probably a half an hour old. I got 9 minutes and 18 seconds left before I expire and go chill out with my wife. But Yes, I'll be doing this again. I'm going to eventually get to the point where I regularly schedule these. This is all being very impromptu because my life is now impromptu, but we're trying to make that a little more regular. Homestead Living says, I miss your show. I miss doing the show. I miss being at work. I miss doing this on a regular basis, but I'm trying to get back into it on a regular. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Earlier, I was talking about the fact that the federal government wants to ban TikTok, and not in the way you think. They want to ban the TikTok offices in Canada. Pretty disgusting, in my opinion. I don't understand at all why it would make sense to take away the jobs of hundreds of Canadians because of security concerns. Think about this. Once they no longer work for TikTok, they'll work somewhere else. They're still Canadians working in Canada. How are you helping security? I don't get it. But I don't get a lot of the things that the people in red shirts wear. I don't want to say so many things, can't. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Sean Chen says, "G'day, sir. How you doing, Sean? Long time no talk. Hope everything went well after our interview with your project. We did a little thing for his university project, and I hope you got A's, pluses. Anyway, Chase says." Jay says, but Sean, look around. You can clearly park anywhere as long as you have your hazards on. I love people who put their hazards on and use that as the I park anywhere I want button. Yeah. Oh, and Greg Smith was on it. Use plate not authorized for vehicle. Section 12, sub 1, sub D, HTA 140, 170, and it's arrestable. That was the question about what happens if I take my license plate off of one vehicle and put it into the other one. Thanks for throwing that up onto the screen. Okay. How likely can someone get suspended after caught with stunt driving in court? How likely can you get suspended? If you're convicted on the first conviction, you're looking at a 1 to 3 year driving prohibition for stunt driving on conviction, along with a $2,000 to $10,000 fine and up to 6 months in jail. It's real. It's serious. Second conviction, 3 to 10 years. Third conviction, lifetime ban on driving. Yeah. Sean says, yes, of course, 90%. Well, wait. Why'd they dock 10%? Why not 100%? Okay. Can removed resonators be fined on vehicles? Yes, you're taking out equipment that's required as part of your exhaust system. You can be charged. Does everyone know what a resonator is? It's the thing before the muffler, and it helps to smooth out the sound. To I don't even know. I'm not a mechanic, but it in some vehicles there are some turbos that have resonators and turbos and no mufflers, so it definitely helps to reduce the amount of noise coming out. What if I don't pay toll bills? What happens to me? You won't be able to renew your license or plates. I think it goes against your plate as opposed to your driver's license. Yes, it's plates. So why does Canadian Tire sell the, and I mean, I'm sure you're talking about license plate covers, because it's plastic, it's unregulated. What is regulated is your license plate when it's being used on the road. So if you put something that prevents it from following the law, whether it's, Scotch tape or plastic from Canadian Tire, you're choosing to put something that makes that license plate illegal. It's not Canadian Tire's responsibility, although their boxes tend to say for off-road use only. Okay. Do I have to pay tolls for a state I don't live in? Just drive through, no plans on returning. Well, that depends on what they do in the state that you're traveling through. I talk about Canadian law and Ontario law, although I plan to be talking about a lot of laws outside of the country and outside of the province coming up. Hint, hint. Just saying. I can tell you that if you break laws that are driving laws, not toll laws, in a province or city that you don't deal with, and you end up getting suspended as a result, if you ever were to drive through that location, you could be, charged for driving while suspended, because your license would be suspended in that jurisdiction. Now, if that jurisdiction happens to have reciprocal agreements with any other jurisdiction, so in Canada, if you do it, we talk to each other. We have these dang things called computers, and they talk to each other. And you'd be suspended there and everywhere. It's fun stuff. Can you be arrested for stunt driving roadside? Drake Pinder wants to know. Technically, you can't. It is an arrestable offense, so you can be arrested. You won't generally be taken away to court, but there's an arrest function, so you can be handcuffed and arrested. Absolutely, for stunt driving, you're generally released at the scene by form for a promise to appear. Not from criminal, even though it's HTA, it's still arrestable. T says, wait, you're not a cop anymore? Is that a chicken logo? Is that the, what is the name of that chicken logo? What happened is I left. Life changed, opportunities became opportunities, and I wanted to take advantage of them. So I chose to leave early. Is it true you must have an original insurance slip, but a photocopy of ownership is okay? Yes, you can have an original ownership or an electronic copy. Now, an electronic copy is a little different than what you might be thinking. It's not a photocopy. It's not a photocopy. It's not a photograph on your phone. It is an electronic secured version from the insurance provider that's available through their secure app. So that's an alternate version. But yes, a photocopy, now they say true copy is what's required. Front and back of a ownership document is what's required. And I suggest you actually do that. Take a photocopy of your ownership. You don't want your original being available in your car that someone should break into it and know where you live. And so let me retract. You should not be able to sell the car. I actually don't leave my ownership in the vehicle. It stays in my wallet with my insurance. Nothing stays in the car that has my home address on it because I don't want people to find where I live because I'm paranoid. No, why would I want anyone to just, break in to then figure out where I live and come get the stuff they want later? Okay, 2 minutes, 52 seconds. All things sports Saskatchewan or ask? Sports, I don't know. Is it ask or sask? How am I doing in retirement? Retirement is pretty good. It's not really retirement. It was retirement from policing and on to so many other things that are keeping me very, very, very busy, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I love being around for my family, doing the things that I want to do, which is be there for my kids. Video Game Dad says, how do you feel about our police system? Do they need to work on more training? Too many bad cops? I don't think there's too many bad cops. I think there's very few bad cops, and even the very few is too many. So yeah, there are too many. That said, I think there's too few police officers in general. We're severely understaffed. We need way more of them out there on the road to make the roads safer, to make our streets safer, to truly battle crime. Because we can't sprinkle police occasionally hoping to make significant change. We sort of have to get into the be everywhere we need to be all the time, because the second you take your foot off the gas in policing, bad guys crop up again. So you got to be there. You got to be actively on it. And I look at it more from a traffic perspective. Nobody respects the traffic laws because we don't have police to focus on the traffic laws all the time. We deal with the big stuff because we have to triage it. We have to do the big stuff. And then the little stuff gets falling through the cracks. So people speed, and then people die because people speed. And then people say, "Whoa, we're losing, it's dangerous roads." And it's a big problem. And it starts with actually funding police properly and giving police the appropriate amount of authority and room to move, because we're handcuffed more than the criminals are. We have to follow the rules and they don't. So it's a big problem. Let's see here. We got guns are good, but it's illegal to own firearms in Canada. Make it make sense. It's not illegal to own firearms in Canada, Leroy, and I can tell you that because I own lots of firearms. It's illegal to carry firearms for self-defense. It's illegal to carry firearms concealed. There's a lot of laws and rules, but I have rifles that are appropriate for hunting. I have rifles that are appropriate for target shooting. I have stuff because I've been shooting since I was 16 years old. You're absolutely allowed to have firearms. Are you allowed to walk around with them? No. That's where it's different. United States, you can carry for self-defense. You can protect your family, protect your home. You can do a lot of things. And I actually like the way the United States does it. I know people go, oh, but yeah, I like that. I think that you should be able to protect yourself because, 911 takes a while. But that's just me. Okay. Michael says, when was it easier to be an officer, under liberal or conservative leadership? Back in the day, there were no liberal cops. At least they didn't openly talk about it because cops were conservative, because they were the government that actually protected the police and funded the police and were good for policing and for law and order and all that jazz. And the liberals tend to be letting criminals out on the street and not dealing with anything other than making a big old mess. But I don't want to talk about politics. What do we got here? DJ Steve, Retro Master, what's going on? Happy retirement. Thank you very much. Jody Rat Rods Reed says, happy retirement, but can security guards detain me? So security guards have the authority to arrest because they're citizens, and citizens have certain rights in public, and they have expanded rights when they're representing their own property or acting on behalf of the owner of a property. So yeah, they can arrest you. which you may consider a detainment, they do have a duty to deliver forthwith to police. So when they take you back to the security office and you have to wait for the police to show up, that is them doing what they are obligated to do. What do we got here? DJ Steve says, I don't drive, I travel. I know he's kidding. Yes. Greg says, thanks for the excellent live, Sean. Thanks, Greg. Much appreciated. It's the live that's wrapping up because I hit 0, and thanks for making me look up to notice that because I would have kept talking. I apologize. There's 57 new messages that I did not read, and I'm not going to read because if I do, I'll just be here for another hour, and I promised that I would stop when I hit that timer, which is why it's there. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. I'll do it again soon. If you don't already follow me, please do, and you can get me here. And you can also get me on a new channel that is going to start having more content completely unrelated to this. It's about health, wellness, travel, and tech, and it's called Shap Rewired. I turned 50. I'm now trying to get into shape, and I'm utilizing some stuff from a totally different realm to do it. I'm looking at biohacking and looking at preventative. Not how would you look at it? It's not looking at medicine from the I'm going to die, so I need a pill. It's about, can I treat something before I need actual medical intervention to improve and optimize my health. That's the word I was looking for. Optimization. Anyway, I got to go. Check out the video I posted. It was one about TikTok. Please share it with your friends. And let's talk about saving TikTok because they need our help because the Trudeau government wants to get rid of the Canadian offices of TikTok, which is ludicrous. They want to make sure Canadians don't have jobs. I thought their whole platform was putting more money on in creating jobs and they're really, really screwing up. Yeah, I said it. Have a good night.